Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, Tuesday night. Kills with me, of course. It's time to get damn near perfect. What's up, man?
Hey, man, let's get perfect.
Let's get hey
perfect.
For a quick second, I don't know why, but I was thinking about Mr. Perfect from the WWE.
Yeah.
You remember that shit he used to do? He'd be on the basketball court shooting shots. He'd be golfing, getting hole-in-ones and all this stuff. Everything was perfect.
Everything was perfect.
Everything was perfect. All right, guys. For you guys that are here, welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. A blanket hello to all of you guys. We got Paula in the house. All right. What's up, RJ? Good to see you. We got Mary with us. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Jerry is in the house. What's up, Jerry? Russell. What's up, Russell? Good to see you. Thank you so much for reminding people, smash the like button. All right. Kay, Scott, and Oliver. What is going on? Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for being here. We appreciate that. Kill and Gene. What's up, Gene? Gene doesn't. Let me just say something. Gene does not play around. Like, Gene always shows up. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate all you guys. Kill, let's get into this. You know, we've been starting this journey talking about films from the past and the present that we hold in high regard and kind of, you know, shining a light on them, holding the mirror up to them and so forth. And we have a franchise now that has totally rocked the horror world for several years, led by the great James Wan in The Conjuring, with the new film out and about. And I still haven't seen it yet, planning to see it hopefully in the next couple days, but I'm very excited. What are your thoughts on what James Wan has been able to build? And then let's take it back to 2013 with that original film.
You know, James struck gold, man.
Yeah.
Side note, I believe The Conjuring Last Rites is now the highest grossing horror movie for opening weekend.
Yes.
It's something I saw, like some crazy number, which I'm like, yes, this is what we need. Horror fans, go out, support, see these movies. Let, you know, the men and women, the suits know that, oh, the horror fans will come out if you make a good product.
Yeah.
Now, me and Knight haven't seen it yet because life be lifing,
right.
But I am gonna see it very, very soon. But yeah, I mean, you know, take the Warrens' story, to take, you know, shades of, you know, like their investigations, and to kind of put it together. The storylines were right there, you know, whether you believe everything, you know, that's in the Conjuring movies or all the aspects of the Warrens, their life, or don't, they still make a great movie.
Yeah.
And when you put great actors like Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, I mean, you know, this just shows what you can do. You know, no disrespect to actors and actresses that were in horror movies in the past and so forth, but it's such a new day where you can have some of those maybe lower budget films, or good, high budget, and they might have newer talent, or
Right.
or not talent that's on their level. But to have these two in this type of franchise, that just gives so much legitimacy to how great of a franchise it is, and how great the Conjuring universe as a whole is.
Yeah, man. No doubt about it. I mean, the opening was 83 million. So it's absolutely crazy
Pretty good.
what it's been able to achieve. And the other thing that sometimes people forget about, myself included, and I was just looking it up, the three Conjuring films were over $800 million worth in business. So it's like I'm looking at these numbers and it's like, what is going on? I mean, worldwide, this franchise has done quite well. So big credit to James Wan. And I've said it time and time again, Kill, and let me know what you think. But I really feel like once we got to The Conjuring in 2013, it just felt like there was a glow up for horror. You know what I'm saying? Like now it had a little bit more respect, had a little bit more gravitas because of these great actors who at that point we're always kind of just trying to get to that next level, but we knew they had the talent and they obviously had fantastic chemistry. When I saw The Conjuring, and I know you remember this, when we used to do horror movie time around October and stuff like that, The Conjuring was always in a rotation. Conjuring was always in the conversation, in other words. It is multiple reasons. One, because we loved it. Two, because it was just so atmospheric for this time of the year we're heading into the fall. Plus, you could show it to young people, and we've always had that in the back of our heads. So I just feel like it was a big moment in horror. And when we've been doing these rankings and talking about our favorite films and so forth, to me, I always, when I get to that time period, the mid the 2010s, right before the 2010s and going into the 2010s, The Conjuring, man, I feel like it was able to open the door for those other films like Hereditary or Substance, or even new films out right now like Weapons, and so forth. So, but what do you think? Was that a special? I guess what I'm saying, I know we enjoy the movie, but was it that important in your estimation for horror?
I think so. I mean, because it just hit at a perfect time. I mean, essentially, it's a ghost story, at least the first one. It's Amityville horror. It's whatever ghost story you can kind of think of, and it's also a period piece, which that also, to me, gives it a little bit more gravitas because you have the different outfits, the cars, and so forth. It's not as easy as just, hey, film right outside and with a cell phone in your hand. It's like, no. You gotta be authentic with it.
Yeah.
And like I said, whether it's the cinematography, the directing, the acting, the score, it just hit on all cylinders. And it's one of those subtle hits where it's not like a big budget Marvel film or something like that, but everything is sharpened to a razor's edge to the point where you don't even really notice how good it is. You don't really notice, like, damn, this is damn near perfect. I mean, it really is. And it is it's a rewatchable movie.
Yes.
It still can, get you with some of the scares, especially, certain things that still kind of catch me off guard. Like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, clap hands. I forgot about that. It's like, oh no, and it's perfect for this time of year, man. You put it on, and like you said, it is a horror movie, but it's not Terrifier, so it's a little bit more family friendly, of a certain age, so it just hit on all cylinders, and it just feels what James was able to do in the cast. It was just effortless.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it
It was
too,
just
effortless.
easy for them. It's just like, hey, the chemistry, the actors, the score, even the
Yeah.
smaller characters that kind of were helping the Warrens, or the
Mhm.
family, dynamic with the young girls and the dad and the mom. I mean, Lily Taylor, she's
Lily
been
Taylor,
around. She's
right?
always awesome.
Yes, yes.
So it just, hits on every cylinder, whether you have a big role or the small roles.
Yeah. No, I agree, and the thing about it too is that you have to be I mean, I think in general, it's obviously it's gotten critical acclaim, and obviously there's a huge fan base as evidenced by the box office numbers. We're talking a dozen years now, and they're still making headlines and breaking records with the fourth movie. I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy shit.
Yeah.
But it took me back to old school movies, like when we were kids and we would be, watching horror movies late at night, or maybe sometimes on those Sunday mornings or something like that, or maybe at grandma's house. And it was always a haunted house, an old house, a creepy house. There's a ghost, there's noises, there's creaking, darkness, atmosphere, lightning outside, it's raining, all that type of stuff, that type of aesthetic. And James was able to tap into that and making you feel like, wow, I'm transported back to the 70s. This is crazy. And it was so effective. Like you said, the cast did a hell of a job. But that being said, we know that it may not be for all fans, because if you look at The Conjuring, and I do feel as though it's got some genuine scares in it, some real effective atmosphere and mood and so forth. um it's not like pulse pounding, minute for minute. This is not Terrifier.
Mhm.
Okay, you're not seeing people being obliterated 25 times after they're actually dead. You know what I mean? So it has that I don't want to say it's a slow burn, but if you're looking on a spectrum of like Terrifier and then you got slow burn, it's kind of in the middle, a little bit closer to slow burn in my opinion, because the magic of the story, in my opinion, and you referenced it a little while ago, is the characters, the
Yeah.
family,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
connection that they have. You have a mother and a father that have these little girls that are absolutely scared out of their mind because they're being haunted. And then you've got Ed and Lorraine who try to help people like this, and they get connected to the family. And of course, then that brings everything to a head for them because they don't want to fail. They want to help these kids and so forth. So it becomes this big emotional weight, because we get so connected to these characters way before it gets into the really scary stuff. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, I think it opens up, with some scary stuff, because we even see, your girl Annabelle, and once you start going down that road, it's Creepyville for me. Um, Let me jump to the chat real quick, and then I want to ask you a couple more questions about The Conjuring.
Mhm.
We got King Matthew in the house. What's up, man? Good to see
Hey.
you. Mary saying, I thought The Conjuring was great. I love the actors. The movie, everything was so great. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. Matthew saying, I find the Conjuring films to be boring, in my opinion. I just couldn't get into any of them. Tried watching them and couldn't make it past 10 minutes. Ooh,
Mm.
wow. Now, what do you think, Kel? Do you think that, I mean, I think that kind of goes into what I was just saying a little while ago, but what are your thoughts on that, as far as, because obviously everyone has different tastes in horror.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and sort of like how you were saying, slow burn,
Hmm.
I would say story burn.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is, yes, and the last person who chimed in, I get it. You might want a little more action in, or more gore in your horror. I totally get it. That's why
Yeah.
we have things like, Terrifier, or you want more kind of just
In a
torture
violent
stuff.
nature.
Yeah, yeah, you got that. You got the Saw movies for the torture stuff. You got classic slashers. Halloween. Jason. Um, but I guess if you like a good ghost story, or
Mm,
just the demon hunters trying to catch the nun in the second
mhm.
movie, or so forth like that, but that's what this delivers. And those story burn moments make us care. They make us care for this family because the dad is like a truck driver and
Yeah.
he's gone a lot of times. And as a viewer, I'm like, just move. And he's like, we have all of our money tied up in this house. We
Yeah.
cannot move. And it's little story burn beats like that answer a bunch of questions. Like, okay, that's real life stuff right there. All right, I
Right.
get it. Y'all just sunk all your money into this dream house. You got a whole family of young girls, and you get to learn about them, and it
Yeah.
makes us care when their mom, who is like the number one soldier, is now being possessed by this entity.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the really cool thing about this movie, and I hope I'm not jumping too far ahead, it's literally two movies. It's two movies that converge. It's damn near Poltergeist and the
Yes.
Warrens, because you follow both stories separate for like a good portion of the movie. Getting backstory about the Warrens and what they do and how they do it, and are they charlatans? Are they real? Smoke and mirrors. Whatever. You take everything with a grain of salt. And then this family that's going through it, and it keeps escalating and escalating and escalating. And then those 2 points converge. So, for a viewer that you couldn't get past it, the first 10 minutes, I hear you. I get it, and each his own. But for me, those slow points make me care more about the well-being of the protagonists, the Warrens, the kids, the family, Lily Taylor's character. And it pays off at the end. It pays off when the shit is hitting the fan and it's wall-to-wall action and people are being possessed and it's a lot of stuff.
Right? No, I mean, I think that, it's definitely I think it's definitely a conversation to be had, because that type of film also was much more popular back when we were younger. You know what I'm saying? And it all goes through phases, just like the slasher itself has gone through phases. When we got to like the 2000s, I'd say the mid 2000s, for several years, I think the slasher kind of fell off. Scream had not worn off, but Scream was really the main slasher franchise.
Yeah.
So it was kind of in its own bubble. There were imitators, and some that were decent, some that were not. And now slashers are pretty much back. So I think just like that, you have these ghost story themed films that were so popular back in the day. And now it has its moments, like The Conjuring and I guess Insidious as well, are some of the big standouts. But, also as time goes on and horror changes, some things, they just don't have the same popularity. I mean, creature features used to be huge back in even before us, in the 50s, the 60s, vampire films, so it all goes through its moments. But I think the thing that I appreciate about The Conjuring big time is that it seems like, in general, it has a timeless feeling to it, because yes, it's a ghost story, but you do also have the elements, of this whole possession and the demons, and of course, these little children are getting scared shitless. I mean, some of those scenes, man, like those little actresses, they really get to you. They're like, oh my god, they are doing such a great job of making me believe that they are scared out of their absolute minds. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It's just one of those things that really, it just rings true for me. Troy saying, Kill hit it as well with these, especially. Not a fan of the Warrens. It bugs me they profit so much off of this. Well, that's an interesting part of the story. I mean, I find myself, because anytime you have movies that are based on quote unquote actual events or anything that is real, you're going to have some some people that are on one side of the fence and on the other side. Me personally, from the amount of what I knew of the Warrens before these Conjuring films, and of course afterwards and so forth, it doesn't affect my enjoyment of the films. It really doesn't. And I know that, and Troy may feel different about that, and some people may, but it doesn't really affect my enjoyment of the films because I kind of separate them. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. What about you, Kill? Do you separate the reality from the fiction?
Yeah, I do, but granted, sort of like I said, I still take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Could there be in a lore or a tidbit of fakeness or smoke and mirrors? Possibly.
Yeah.
Could some of these cases, could maybe Lorraine really have felt some entity or presence? Possibly. So I don't really know. I kind of just go into this for the story and kind of what James is trying to tell us, in this semi work of fiction, and personally, I would just say to anyone, if you are concerned about that, or if you feel some sort of way of it, definitely do your own research, look, research them, look up, paranormal, studies and things of that nature, because there's so much of this stuff, so many reality shows, ghost hunters and all this other stuff. So, take everything with a grain of salt, question everything, but enjoy the movie.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that's one way to look at it. I mean, there's just a lot of different ways that you could go. And of course and the other thing about it too is some things, and I'm not talking specifically about the Warrens, but there are some things that it's hard to, figure out, who's telling what. There was this really cool, I think I told you about this, or either we watched it. It was this cool documentary on the History Channel, and it was talking about the Amityville. And of course, the Amityville had a lot of different angles to it, the whole investigation and so forth. And the Warrens did have, a small part of that. Well, I don't want to say a small part, but they had a part of it, and so you had multiple sides that were saying, well, this happened, or that happened, or no, this didn't happen. And so it was absolutely crazy, man, because it's like, well, who's telling the truth? Who's telling the truth? I mean, some things you can figure out that, okay, that is not true, but there are other things that are like, oh, man, but I don't know, maybe that's why I kind of disconnect myself from that a little bit and just enjoy the movies as they are. Because the truth of it is, I mean, the movies, they are fictionalized anyways to a degree. There's definitely some things that have happened in the cases of these films that weren't shown in the movie, or it was changed in the movie. So there's that, real quick in the chat, just to catch up, we got Melissa in the house, we got Gory Tiger. What's up, guys? Good to see y'all. And you know what else we got, Kill? We got Nightfall coming in with a $5 super chat saying, good evening, Night Watch family. Good to see you all. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. And we definitely appreciate the super chat. It helps us out, helps us to do live streams like this and helping to bring everyone together. We just appreciate you, man. We really, really do. So let's do a super chat clip and Kill. Sometimes just when you don't know what to expect, you got to watch out, because things could fly out at you, and it might look like this.
Nej, helvetes dritt altså! Det skulle ha vært med en gang! Inni øra og hele dritet her! I faens kondomer med de pinade leie og kneisa på disse her cowboyturer!
Yeah, watch out, Betty. Watch out, man. Thank you so much, Nightfall. He's laughing his butt off. There you go. All right. What's up to David? David's in the house too. Nightfall, thank you so much, man. We appreciate the support. It really makes a big difference for us. Okay. So Kill, you know, let's also ask this. When you think about The Conjuring, the first movie, let's just talk about the first movie for a second, because we do think that it's so great and basically flawless. Do you have a favorite moment or scene? And if you do, and you may not, but I'm just saying, if you do, let us know what it is.
You know, it's a few of them, but the one that comes to mind, which is just scary. To me, it's always scary when like you have siblings and they share a room, you know, and it's like one sees something or feels something, and you know, like, hey, quit playing with my feet. Like, what are you talking about? I'm in bed. And it's just like, oh my goodness, you know, do you see that in the corner? Like, wait, what?
Right,
What's in the corner? And it's just like, oh man. And then of course the camera's panning to like the corner and it's just dark and it's like, you know, you're looking too, like, but you don't want to get too close. Like, wait,
right.
So essentially that scene, and it kind of dovetails into them kind of trying to tell their mom, especially their dad, and the dad's just like, quit lying, whatever. You know, why are y'all making that racket upstairs? He goes upstairs. I can't remember if it was him or Lily Taylor, and they try to open the door. You see an old woman's eye. Like, hey, I'm busy in here throwing them around like cats in a bag. You better let me finish this. And she's like, holy crap, who is in my house?
Yeah.
So I guess just for me, just, you know, of course I don't enjoy seeing these kids because they're great actresses being scared out of their mind.
Right.
But just I guess the sibling love and support they showed each other when they finally realized, okay, you're just not playing around. Something is going on. And mom, help us. We're trapped in here with an old crazy lady, you know, that's throwing us around like cats. I don't know what's going on, you know. But yeah, pretty much those kind of first scares of the kids.
That's great, man. I mean, you know, that's definitely one of those standout moments, no doubt about it. For me, there's a lot, man. I mean, I'm gonna kind of cheat. I've got two, and it's kind of a cheat of sorts. But when they are outside and they're right by that tree, and Lorraine turns around, and first of all, can I just give credit? Obviously, Vera, you know, can do no wrong in my eyes, and I'm pretty sure in your eyes as well, Kill. Same thing for Coriander. We absolutely love Vera. We absolutely love Patrick. Even before these movies, that's the thing. Like, we've been there from day one, you know. But when she turns around, the look of fear and horror on her face is palpable. Like, she is freaked out. And of course, you've got Patrick there. He doesn't see what she sees because she has that extrasensory gift.
The Shining.
But man, yeah, she's got the Shining. But man, I'm telling you, that scene always stood out to me because when I first saw it, I was just like, oh my God. And it was just done in a very creepy way. With great atmosphere. There's no blood or guts hanging out or any big, you know, cheap jump scare or anything like that. It's just pure old-fashioned horror, in my opinion, you know. So I love that scene, but I also love at the end, you know, in the finale when they're basically trying to save Lily Taylor. You know, and she was talking about, remember your kids, you remember that picture of you on the beach and blah, 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 blah. And like it's not that it's scary or super whatever, but it's an emotional moment. And it works because I'm invested in these characters. The camera is showing Vera with her hand on Lily, and they shoot a shot over at Patrick. and even the husband, that actor who's playing the husband of Lily Taylor. And it's like, and they show the picture of the family, and it's like, bro, all these emotions. I want this family to survive, and it's just a powerful moment. And I think that for me as a fan and me as a viewer, that's some of the magic that The Conjuring brings out. And I never would have thought that when the movie was coming out. I specifically remember this. When the movie was coming out, I was thinking, okay, James Wan, I love Saw, we had Insidious, we had all this Conjuring. It looks like it's going to be pretty cool. I didn't expect all of the emotion, with the characters and stuff. That was like such an added bonus. And you're talking to someone, and maybe we should veer to this for just a quick moment. You're talking to a horror fan that loves this, and I can sit back in the next minute and enjoy Terrifier 3. You know what I mean? I really enjoy the Terrifier films for what they are. You know what I mean? How big of a fan? We never really talk specifics like this, not live anyways. How big of a fan are you, or aren't you, of the Terrifier movies?
I still have yet to watch the third movie. I like them. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of them. But I respect, what they're doing, and it's a different type of horror. It's death metal. It's fast. It's in your face. It's grotesque. It's kind of absurd, with some of the kills and over the top. But I'm like you. I'm here for it all. I'm here for the subtle. I'm here for the period piece ghost story. I'm here for something that might be doing something a little new or weird or different, like long legs or weapons or something like that. Or Smile. Like Smile is so subtle, and some people might say, "Is that really horror?" That's like,
it
pop.
Is.
It's like light. That's easy listening horror or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would call it. It's not Terrifier 3,
right?
But it's still horror. So I love that we live in an age now where you have so many different flavors. Of it. Like I love variety. I love to say, well, what kind of horror do I feel tonight? Do I feel like sci-fi Event Horizon? Do I feel like a classic slasher? Do I feel like something a little new age like Barbarian or Smile or It Follows?
Hey,
look.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, or do I feel like seeing something that you never see the antagonist? Final Destination, Bloodlines, or whatever. Go ahead.
Look, man, we keep bringing up Event Horizon. It keeps popping up here and there, man. We're gonna have to. When's the last time you seen Event Horizon?
Ooh, man, 10, 15 years ago.
For real?
Maybe,
that long?
Yeah, it's
Holy
been a while.
Shit! Now, obviously, you're a fan of it.
Yes.
We've talked about it before. Wow, I didn't know it was that long ago. Now, let me ask you this, because it hasn't been that long for me, because I showed it to Coriander. I can't remember if she had seen it before or not, but this was a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Definitely, from my opinion, way too long, because I think it's such a banger of a film. Let me ask you this, not to put you on the spot, and you don't have to answer this, but if we were to put together a watch party for Event Horizon, we could make this a fun channel thing or whatever. Would you be up for doing that, you think?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, maybe we gotta do that, man, because if it's been that long for you, almost a dozen years, we gotta rectify that. But do you have it on? Well, I know you probably have it streaming. Do you have it physical?
I think I have it physical and not streaming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we'll have to talk about this. You guys in the chat, let us know. And I mean, seriously. And Scott's the only one. He says, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, Event Horizon watch party." You guys, let us know if Event Horizon would be something that you'd want to watch, that we could put together. Matter of fact, if we did it, I could put it on the Patreon platform and play the movie for people. Like they wouldn't even have to worry about if they had to rent it or whatever. But that's a whole nother story. By the way, if you haven't checked out our Patreon, please do. It definitely is a lot fun, and also lets us do some different things that we can't do on YouTube. So, okay, so let's pedal back. we've gone through a lot of the high points of the film for The Conjuring. We talked a little bit about the franchise and its effects. We've even kind of, tiptoed around Last Rites, which again, we're going to be seeing. We're really excited for. It's breaking box office records. It's showing that you can do these types of films even in today's age, even though, and we've got some folks here who don't like The Conjuring, and that's fine. But the money is saying that, these films can still be very successful. They can be successful commercially and critically. Here's my question for you. We don't know what we're going to think of Last Rites. We haven't seen the movie. We don't want any spoilers. I think it's going to be a good film. I know it's going to at least be decent. Here's my question for you. This is the next question we've got. What do you want to see from the franchise itself? Now, this could be just specifically for the Conjuring films with the Warrens, or you could also talk about the Conjuring universe, because they're not stopping. The Conjuring universe is going to keep going, obviously. So what do you want to see?
That's an interesting question. I kind of have two answers. One, as much as I love Vera and Patrick, it would be more of a prequel type thing with even younger actors. Like how did Lorraine first figure out her powers? How did she first discover that? What event might have happened that caused that? How did they first meet? What was one of their first investigations? Things of that nature. Now, of course, you're gonna have to get some good young talent.
Yeah,
that can bring it.
You can get Vera's sister, Thaisa.
You know what? That's perfect.
I'm just saying.
Hey, she's already been in the Nun movies. Yeah. Why not? Hey, there you go. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. And then my other answer, as far as the broader, Conjuring universe, maybe, let's go back into that the Warrens' basement. What other evil is down there?
Yeah.
What other creepy stories can we mine from some of that stuff? So
that's a good, I like that, man. That definitely would be interesting. Now, what about as far as the universe? Anything in particular that, I know you kind of went through it, but do you want to see more of the Nun, or do you want to see something else like La Llorona, or what do you think?
Peaks and valleys, man.
Right.
I don't know. Like Annabelle showed, to me that you can come out with kind of, a lackluster first, outing. Yeah. And then you can come back with something that is more, substantial and good. With the Nun, I personally have liked both of those. La Llorona, it's kind of hit or miss, so I guess if they were to go back to those, woodsheds, it's got to be worth it. It's got to make sense. I just don't want them to milk the Conjuring universe franchise tag just for a payday. And I think James has worked too hard, and all the other directors that have, had a hand in helping craft this universe, and the actors and the writers, they've worked too hard at building something that's kind of unknown and never heard of in horror. If you really think about it. This isn't, the Marvel and DC universe, stuff like that. This is the Wanaverse. This is the Conjuring verse, So, sort of like I said, if they can kind of pull a new creepy crawly from the basement of horrors of the Warrens and give me a good story, I'd be down for that. Or if they can truly come up with a good reason to go back to the Nun or Annabelle or something like that, I would be down for that. But it's got to make sense. It's got to, you got to have a good story.
Yeah.
Don't just do a cash grab.
Well, let me just say this. First of all, you made a great point, because this is unique. Yeah. Seriously, in a world where having a horror franchise in and of itself at this level of success, I'm not saying that you can't just make a franchise. I mean, you can make multiple movies in a row and it's a franchise, but I'm talking about at this level of success, rivaling, our classic franchises from back in the day, the Big Four, TCM, Candyman, Chucky, all these. I mean, this rivals all at Final Destination, Saw, and so. But this is very different because this universe has all these subparts. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And they've all been very successful in the theater. So you're right. When you really step back and you look at it and you just say, look at all these movies, all the Annabelle movies, all of the Nun movies, the La Llorona, and obviously the Conjuring films. It's like, this is very unique. So I do want to give credit to that. Next, I agree with you. Obviously we don't want a cash grab, but obviously it's going to be a cash grab because they're making money hand over fist, so they don't want to stop the party train. But what I would say is try to get back to crafting a film with a director that has that type of vision, like a James Wan. I mean, hell, man, Mike Flanagan is working day and night, 24 hours a day. He's working on this and this and this and this and that and his own stuff. Like, tap Mike Flanagan, somebody like that, and say, bro, we need another one of something, and craft a story. For a while, I thought they were going to do that Crooked Man. I was kind of curious to see how they would do that, but I do want to see the universe continue, even if it's outside of these Conjuring films. I do agree that all good things do come to an end at some point, especially depending on the style of that art, and in this case being a movie with these two people and these two actors that really solidified it. You're right, they could go younger. It's a risk, it's a gamble. Can you get the type of chemistry that you need? Can you mine the stories that would be interesting enough, and so forth? Do you get the right talent behind the camera? We don't know. I mean, I'd be open for it, but I'm also okay with moving forward. Like you said, there's a lot of shit in that room. We could talk about a lot of other stuff or movies that kind of ride parallel to that. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be up for that. Real quick, too, in the chat, just to get to the chat. I know you guys are working hard. Nightfall said he was down with the Event Horizon idea, so we got to throw that out there. We got to think about that one. The Queen is in the house. Hey, friends, sorry I'm late. Sarah, thank you for being here. We appreciate that. That's really cool that you came here tonight. Awesome to see you as we get back to doing Tuesday night streams, and hopefully people will start to recognize that and join us and hit those notification bells and so forth. But thank you for being here, Sarah. Sarah's still working hard as always, putting the links in for the Patreon and so forth. Thank you so much. We got Josh in the house. What's up, Josh? Saying, did you see James Wan is currently asking for more money as a producer and threatening Warner Brothers to leave the franchise? And there was talk about that a while back too. Some contracts and stuff like that. I personally don't hold anything against James Wan. I really don't. This franchise, the Conjuring films alone, I was just reading it, from the research. The Conjuring films alone have made $800 million. Can you imagine that? 3 films. What are we doing here? So all of these movies, the Annabelle movies as well, and all of that. I mean, this is a $1 billion this is a Marvel situation. Okay. And James is the one that started it all. So I don't begrudge him. He's got high aspirations, starting his own production company and having his hands in a lot of different things, which I think is a good thing. He's a visionary. He's fantastic as a director and as a producer. And if he can inspire others, with his reach that he's gained, I think it's a good thing for horror is what I'm getting to. What do you think about it, Kill?
I love what he has done, but once again, I just hope if he just keeps coming back to this same well, I hope it doesn't sully all of the hard work.
Yeah.
As much as I'd love to, you know, like we were saying in the last segment, I'd love to see more stories of, you know, let's do that spooky samurai armor that's in the scary room. I want to know about that, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe it takes place in Japan. I don't know, you know. I would be down for that. But once again, Suits at Warner, give him his money. He has made you guys a lot of money. And the interesting thing is he's still producing.
Yeah.
He's still got it. He's not like some of these directors that, oh man, he was so great in the 80s and now he's doing War Horse or whatever. I'm sorry. I always use War Horse.
GOAT. He is the GOAT.
But you know, Steven.
As a quick aside, we do this quite a bit. We always go from one thing to another. Is Steven Spielberg the greatest director of all time?
I don't know, man.
What? Really?
I don't know. I mean, because look, you know me. I love me some John Carpenter, man. You know, I don't know.
Hey, who are you telling?
I don't know. I mean,
pound for pound.
I don't know. I mean, wow. I love me some James Cameron. I actually love me some Ridley Scott, some Martin Scorsese. I mean, like that. Look, that's a question for a different show. we can do that down the line. You know, damn near perfect directors.
You just called it.
Would you guys like to see that? Put that in the chat.
Yeah, put that in the chat. We'll have that as a topic.
But no, he definitely is up there on like the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
but
he's gotta be.
I guess, you know, and the one last thing I'll say is, if people like those type of films or love those type of films, then yeah, he's a GOAT.
But think
if
about
they're kind of like, I think George Lucas is better than you, or John Carpenter, or you know, Toby Hooper is better because I love Texas Chain. You know, so it just really kind of depends.
Well, and I think also, and I know I said we were going to get off of this, but I just got to say this as well. I think it also depends on how you're grading it. Are you grading it on their body of work as a whole, or are we picking out a couple of their films and going, you know, versus just that? Because I mean, you gotta admit, man, Steven, man, his net is pretty wide. I see this this comment from Melissa. Melissa saying, some weird reason Jaws is in cinemas. Don't know why. It's because it's the 50th anniversary. That's why, Melissa. Which it's amazing to think it's been 50 years, but that's why it's in theaters. Go see it. It's still one of the greatest films of all time.
The first summer blockbuster.
That's the one. Hey, without that, our childhood would have been totally different, bro. Right? Yeah. I mean, seriously, Steven opened the door. So, I mean, you've got movies like that. You've got, you know, movies obviously like Jurassic Park. I mean,
Poltergeist. Oops.
Whoa. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
So, look, let me also do this. Yeah, and Josh called it. That's right. The 50th anniversary. Everybody called it. Okay. All right. Everybody knew. All right. Brian in the house. What's up? Sarah said not War Horse. Oh,
not War Horse. I gotta pick a new one of his films to make fun of. I'm sorry. I love horses, everyone. I love horses. Beautiful.
That was a good one. Sarah, thank you so much again for putting the Patreon link in chat. Guys, we're gonna be doing some really cool stuff there. And we can do so much more without a lot of the restrictions we have on YouTube. So definitely, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. We've got a great chat feature as well, and we can have communication much more easily, for me anyways, to contact folks and let them know when we're doing things, special events, giveaways, all of that. And it's also free. I mean, obviously, if you'd like to help support us in one of our tiers, we'd appreciate it, but it's also free. So all right, let's see what else we got. Jory saying, pay that man so we can get some more batshit Malignant type of stuff. He really loves to make Malignant, man. I mean, just so underrated, a masterpiece, and we've talked about that seriously. Let's see. Troy saying the greatest has to be the body of work. Otherwise, you're just comparing their peaks, which is different. Yeah, I agree. You know, if you're looking at the whole thing, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow. And you know what else we got, Kill? Look at this. Scott said just joined Patreon. Nice. What? All right, hold on. Let's do this. We got a member.
What you got?
We've got a member.
Welcome to the Night Watch Zone.
There we go, man. Let's do a super chat clip. Thank you so much for that, Scott. We really appreciate just the support and just, you know, getting the community together. You know how it goes. Kill, you know, some every time I look at the pictures, it trips me out. Kill, you know, sometimes just when you thought you knew what to expect, something comes and just makes you turn your face, and it might look like this. Hey, look. As soon as Joaquin comes on the screen, you always lose it.
It's just like, I mean, in Gladiator, did they direct him to do that? You like violence that much? It's like, yeah.
Joaquin, oh my God.
We love you, Joaquin.
We do, you know we do. All right, so look, seriously, Scott, you rock, man. I'm gonna pull it up right here, though. I wish I could pull it up on the screen. I actually can't pull it up on the screen, but I want to give you that shout out, man. We appreciate you jumping in and becoming a part of what we do over on the Patreon. And look, you gotta love this. He says, yes, my broke ass is finally able to support the channel properly. That's sweet, man. You know, we appreciate all the support, any type that we can get. But thank you so much. It really helps us out, you know, and we've had a lot. Kill and I, we were talking about doing these Tuesday streams when we were down visiting family, which, you know, is always awesome because we're actually physically together and we don't get near enough time to do that. But we were doing what we usually do, just talking movies and having fun. And then we, you know, kind of think of this type of setup for a stream. And, you know, first thing I said to him, I said, hey, well, this sounds great. And I wanted to make sure he had time with his busy schedule, my busy schedule, and just all the things that we try to do in life. And so anyways, we're very appreciative of the support. And it helps us to actually be able to take the time to be here and hang out and have everyone together. So thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it. Kill.
Yes.
Before we talk about our next main topic, I've got to put something out there for you. You know, and I kind of alluded to this before we went live, and now is the time to pay the piper. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I did this a long time ago when I used to do some streams in the daytime in the morning. And sometimes you just wonder how you would react to certain situations, right? But not just any old situation, but maybe horror situations or just odd situations. So here's situation number one, scenario number one. You guys in the chat, let us know what you think as well. This is what we're going to do, Kill. I'm going to put this up. And once I get situated, I'm going to read it out to you. But this is going to be a scenario that we're going to have you figure out. The title of it is called The Darkness, okay? You wake up in the morning with no electricity. You are in total unexplained darkness. You come to find out the entire country is enveloped in darkness. Days of this pass. What do you do?
Ooh, this sounds like The Mist a little bit. So okay, totally pitch black, dark days of it outside. Do I have light, like a flashlight or a lantern?
Hey man, we're just saying it is total darkness, bro. That's
Mhm.
all we're saying. Yeah, I mean, maybe you have access to a flashlight, maybe.
Do do
Maybe.
I do I hear creatures in the darkness? Do I hear anything in the darkness?
I love how you're asking these questions. You might. You might.
Okay.
Give it some thought. Give it some thought. You guys in the chat, let us know what you would do as well, because we're gonna. We may not be able to get to everyone's comment, but we're hopefully gonna get to some really good ones in here. So, what do you think, Kill?
Well, I don't want to be like our boy Andre Brower in The Mist. Just like, oh, you people are messing with me. You people are messing with me. I'm going out in this mist, and you can't stop me. No, okay. So the truth about it is what I would do is this: I would probably stay put, but I would try to get information, whether it's a ham radio, a CB, cell phone, because you didn't say anything about there's no cell phone. You just said there's no electricity.
That's right.
So I would try to call to find out what's going on. Is it something supernatural? Is it like a terrorist attack? I don't know, whatever. I would eventually have to go outside, because I am eventually going to run out of food, things of that nature. So I would try to eventually, gather some items that I can defend myself. You guys can allude to what items I might be grabbing. And then I guess I'm gonna venture into the abyss, into the sunken place and see what.
Dude.
Eventually, I mean, because look, it's either you stay inside and you starve,
right?
And I'm not going for that. So I'm look, if I'm going out with the fight.
So in other words, if you were in the mist, you would have gone out with that group.
No. I'm in a supermarket with plenty of food. Okay. Listen, you see what my brother does? I literally said, if I'm in my house, I don't have food. Eventually I'm gonna run out of food. So however many days that takes, I'm gonna stay there. And then when the tumbly starts to get grumbly, I'm eventually going to finally have to leave. Now, if I'm held up with, all the people in the mist in a supermarket, and I know for a fact there's creatures out there. I can hear them. I see them.
Yeah.
Some of them keep big fly mosquito things just came in and sucked Johnny over here, killed him. I'm staying my ass in that supermarket, Jack. If you haven't seen The Mist, watch The Mist. It's great.
Let us know. Watch The Mist in the chat, guys.
It's
please.
Damn near perfect.
It could be on a future episode. Yeah, man. It's absolutely a good one. And again, Scott, thank you so much, man. I see you on the site, one of our movie fanatic levels. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Now, what would you do, Knight?
Melissa said it'd be like The Walking Dead. She loves The Mist. All right, I love it. Awesome. For me, that'd be a messed up situation. But you're right. I would try my cell phone. I definitely would have a flashlight and also candles. So I would listen. I would give it, I don't know, maybe half a day.
Oh, so you would go out pretty fast.
I think I would, man.
Oh, okay, Andre Brower.
I think so, man. Because listen, let's say, so I woke up in the morning, blah blah. I think. No, let me just say it. Let me go back it up. I'd go a day. But okay. During that time, even though it's dark out, I've got a flashlight, I've got candles. Now, assuming that I don't live that far away from other people, I definitely would try to find out, does anybody know what's going on?
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like you said, I would try the cell phone.
Now, here's a question. If somebody knocks on your door and literally says this, help me.
See, why you gotta do that?
Help me.
Why you gotta do that? You're giving me like,
don't you open that door? It's a mimic.
No,
Don't you
Dude,
open that door.
you went all the way back to Mimic. Wow.
Hey, look, no, not the movie, not the
Oh,
movie
okay.
Mimic. I'm talking about. And look, if you know, you know. If you hear something and someone's like, "Hey, Mr. Knight, let me in. Who is this?" Like, "Oh, it's me, John." And you know you have a friend named Johnny or something. You better text Johnny and be like, "Hey, are you at my front door?" And then they're gonna be like, "No, I'm not at your front door." Like,
I'm in
okay.
Hawaii. Like, okay.
Yeah, yep, nope. I'm not opening up for you. All right, you're a
Nope.
mimic.
Hey, look, I got supplies too, so I'm ready. I'm ready. Sarah says I'm going for supplies immediately. I would assume people would be waiting it out at home for as long as possible. So I got to get out there first, get supplies, and then hunker down at home. Wow, Sarah's ready to just go out on the countryside. She's going Rick Grimes style.
And Sarah, I appreciate that go-getter attitude. So I know whose house to ransack first. Okay, I will be. Look, hey,
we're going to Sarah's.
We're going to Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I want you gasoline.
Your gasoline.
I'm just kidding, Sarah.
No, we would never do that, Sarah. No, if anything, we're gonna go and party, and like be like, man, we gotta make the best of the time we've got left, I guess. That was a good answer, Sarah. I really enjoyed it. You said Mad Max style, man. It's like, wow.
Hey, the breakdown of society. You know how it goes.
Oh my God, man. Did it break down? Hey, let me ask you something. We're all over the place. You know that. Where does Mad Max go? Can we go? Can we go anywhere from now? I know you weren't huge on Furiosa. I
liked Furiosa a lot.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I know we haven't talked much about it, but obviously it wasn't Fury Road.
No, but Fury Road was kind of barely a Mad Max film too.
Well, true.
I mean,
true.
So you know where we go? We make a Mad Max film.
There it is.
That's where we go. Now, whether that means you do a reboot, as much as I love the original, and look, as long as
George Miller,
yes, as long as George is involved, do a reboot.
Could you imagine that?
Could you imagine George just off the chains, like, "Hey, George, write a check.
Yeah.
Make the version of Mad Max you always wanted to do."
Bro, can you
imagine that? But you got to get a good actor. Go to Australia, find him, whatever. But do that same storyline where we see the change. And I mean, just do it, because I love Furiosa. I love Fury Road, but Fury Road was kind of half Mad Max, half Furiosa, and Furiosa was all Furiosa. Hey, if George is behind the camera, I'm taking it. I love it.
I don't know. I haven't really kept up on it much, because out of fear in a way, because obviously Furiosa didn't do as well as they expected. It definitely didn't do as well as it should have. I mean, it was a beautiful film. Again, just a beautiful made film, and it was great. But now, I don't know if Warner Brothers will have the same confidence, as far as if George wanted to do another film. And I know he did have an idea for another film, but I would love that if he went back and redid Mad Max. You know what I mean? With today's, technology and so forth, still make it practical as possible, just like he has with these other films. But bro, just thinking about that is getting me all giddy. Like when we did the battle world of Mad Max versus was it Escape from New York? I believe it was.
I believe so.
Right? Yeah, that was a great battle, by the way. And you guys, if you have not checked out our Battle World episodes, you should check those out. Gosh, they were so awesome. We got to get back to that, hopefully, in the next week or so. But Mad Max was just such a great film. I still remember the first time I saw it, and it sticks with you, man, because it's so gritty. I love that realism. It's absolutely amazing. All right, guys. Sarah, thank you so much. Still working hard in the chat. She's got the link for our Patreon, guys. Again, we're going to be doing some really cool stuff. I'm able to communicate with the folks on Patreon really easily. We have a chat feature where you can chat with all of us anytime that you want, and it is free. Scott saying, if I'm in this situation, I'm going to the store because it's around the corner. I can walk there in 10 minutes. I can live off of rice and noodles for a good long while. There you go. Rice and noodles, baby. I love it. There you go. All right. Well, Kill, we're going to go to our next topic or our next aside, whatever you want to call it. Because, look, we are big fans of horror. We're big fans of 80s horror. And I want to propose to you a movie that could be the best slasher of the 80s. You know what that movie is?
I think I do.
The Terminator, baby.
Yes, definitely.
1984. James, I'm the king of the world, Cameron. And Arnold, I'm the governor, Schwarzenegger. Bro, you remember when we saw this film as kids? First of all, let me just say this, and for some of you guys that haven't been around with us for a long time, just to give you context, my brother and myself, we saw a lot of, these classics just sitting in the living room with our parents, usually both of them, but at least one of them. And, so it makes a mark on you. It really does, and of course we watched a lot of horror ourselves, in tandem in our basement on a big TV and stuff like that, in our rooms and stuff like that. The Terminator, man, that was a moment, bro. I'll never forget that. What are your overall thoughts about the film? And then we can kind of get into the whole slasher aspect of it.
It's terrifying if you think about it, because until you realize he's a machine, it's just a guy that's, it's based off of the technology at the time. He's going through the yellow pages, and for the kids, the yellow pages were these books that would have everybody's phone numbers. There weren't cell phones, really. Well, there were some, but you had to be super rich to have them. But no, It had your home phone number there, and they could just look up all the John Smiths. Oh, Los Angeles has this many John Smiths. And if he was trying to kill a John Smith, you bet your ass he went to every house that said John Smith, and he aced you out. Yeah, because he's a machine, and that's how systematic he goes about it. Yeah. But yeah, until you realize he's a robot, it's like, oh, geez, this is a slasher. This is a stalker. This is a killer, a cold-blooded killer, an emotionless giant of a man that is just shooting shotguns and this and that. And then you see this horror when he's in the mirror, Mr. Happy, and he's doing eye surgery on himself. And it's like, what? So I mean, it was one of those movies that just hit at the right time. And James Cameron, he's a damn near perfect director. His body of work, come on, and what he did in this movie was just so ahead of its time. And if you watch it today, some of the special effects you look at it, it's like, okay, that looks like a puppet, that looks like a fake Arnold head. It's from the early 80s, but the movie itself is still a really good piece of fiction. And just the Terminator franchise, if you look at some of the things that are going on in our world today, I think James and them might have seen the future or the writing on the wall with artificial intelligence and thinking machines. And so just be careful, guys, because Skynet, I already know that story. All right, Chat GPT, I already know the Skynet story. So but look at that. That's terrifying.
It is, bro. It scared the shit out of me as a kid.
I mean, when certain creatures, the xenomorph, the predator, and that's the T-800.
Yeah,
the T-800 skeleton, the glowing red eyes. that's nightmare fuel. Because
It
when you
was.
see one of those three creatures, that's your ass.
I was just about to say that, dude. That's your ass.
Look, and I know this is a side. If you're cowering in a closet, like Michael Reiser, in Aliens, and you hear some maracas behind you, something shaking, you feel some drip, because he's always like,
Yeah.
As soon as you turn, it's waiting. It's like as soon as you turn around,
right?
So I'll wait. Are you gonna turn around?
It's like, and it's like, and his boys want to help him. It's like your boy Ernie when he's like, no. Hey, look.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What I was just gonna say, and the Predator, you see those red dots on you, like, oh man, Bill Duke, you're about to get aced out. Carl Weathers, you're gonna go out like a champ. And then the Terminator. If you see that, look, there's only one person that has survived a T-800 that close, about to like get her, and that was Sarah Connor in the first movie. Everybody else, for the most part, unless you're also a Terminator, you're getting aced out.
Right.
Look, see, there you go. Like, look, he's like, this is my strong hand. Look at her. And she's like, all right, get your hand off of me. No means no.
I'm not down with that. Hey, look, and shout out to the late great Bill Paxton, who you just named the top three, and Bill,
he's fought them all.
Not successfully, but he was there. He was there.
He got killed by all of them.
Yep, Lance Henriksen too.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah.
But see, Lance actually almost was one of them.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Side note for you kids, Lance Henriksen at one point was going to be the Terminator.
Right.
In the original Terminator. They were going to go smaller, more sleek.
Yep.
He blend, and if you think about it, he blends in to a populace a lot better than a giant from Austria.
Right. No doubt. All right, real quick too in the chat, just to catch up. Scott saying, I'm not sure if I'd say it's the best 80s slasher, but it's definitely in the conversation. All right. Well, Scott, let us know what you think is the best 80s slasher, and that also will take us in a nice direction for the conversation. Sarah, again, just doing some fantastic work. She has the link for the Battle World playlist. A lot of great conversations, some great films. So definitely check those out, guys. We really, we really enjoy all of these times that we've gotten together, and it's been so much fun. It really is. He got a dead cat in there. Yeah, I know. He was just like, oh man. Kay saying, first time I saw it, I just got back from preschool and only saw the last 8 minutes in the afternoon with no context at around 4 years old. Ooh, good Lord. It's crazy. Josh saying the scene where Reese and Sarah are running down the hallway of the factory with the skinless Terminator. That's right. Hot in their tails. Terrified me as a kid.
Josh, you and me both, brother. You and me both.
Because it felt like there was nothing they could do.
Yeah.
He couldn't be stopped.
This thing up. And it just got out. You not only did you blow it up, but it was covered in rubble. It gets out of the rubble and is just looking at you like, look what you messed up my suit. My skin suit.
my human suit.
Yeah.
This movie is fantastic, obviously, and I know some folks may disagree on whether or not it's a slasher. I feel as though it is. There's been a lot of debate. It has so many of the hallmarks. Now, some people...
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you define a slasher?
Well, okay. Now, where I was going to go with this is there are some people that hold hard to the old definitions of the slasher. And that's one of the sticking points of the Terminator, is that a slasher does not have guns as a weapon. Okay. And obviously Arnold has a lot of fucking guns in this movie.
Yes, he does.
The whole idea of the final girl, we do have that in this. The whole idea of the sex equals death, we do have that in this. When Arnold comes to the apartment and kills the roommate, is it a stalk type of thing going on? To it, he's hunting Sarah. You know what I mean? So it's one person and people get in his way type of thing. So it's a little skewed. But man, I would definitely say I feel as though it's a slasher. And I definitely think, okay, if some people want to fight on that, I can understand it because, it's tight. But let me just say this. It's definitely a horror film. You could call it sci-fi horror, just like we talked about with Alien last week. It scared the crap out of me, and it still has that intensity. Even though I know what the hell is going to happen, it still makes me sit back and say, "Oh man," you know what I mean? Because it just gets you, and all of the elements. But here's the biggest part about it, bro. James Cameron himself, who, as we all know, he came out of small time filmmaking and working in the production crews and stuff like that, like he did with Piranha 2, The Spawning, doing the Roger Corman days and stuff like that. He literally said John Carpenter was an inspiration for him. He really appreciated what Carpenter did with Halloween. And he basically said that's what it is. People want to get into the business and they want to make their own stylish type of horror film like a Halloween. And so he got his opportunity, and I think he did a great job, and he had his own flourishes to it. That film, it's beautiful. They had about $50 and they made a movie, and it's beautiful. Of course they didn't have just 50, but you get what I'm saying. Like even just the imagination and the music, just all these elements coming together, and the cast. You had a great cast. I mean, look, Linda Hamilton will always be a favorite of ours. I think, I can safely say that. Since we were kids watching Beauty and the Beast, if you know, she was great in it. Michael Biehn is a treasure, such an underrated actor and performer. And I'm just glad that he just kept doing work because he was great in everything that I had ever seen him in. But these guys
he
were
missed
great.
out on that trifecta though. He fought the Xenomorph and he fought Terminator.
Yeah. Yes. You're so true. You're so true. All right, now real quick, before we go through a couple more points on this, let me catch up to the chat and see what we got going on here. We got Mirage Knights in the house. What's up? When the Terminator came out, review platforms compared it to Alien in horror and scares. So that speaks volumes. Agreed. Sarah said, "Where's my human suit?" in the same cadence as "Where is my super suit from The Incredibles?" That's good.
Nice.
Sarah, that's good. Sarah, you got to get on the panel with us, man. I'm telling you, we miss you. I could hear her saying that in her voice, and it made it even better. That was great. Scott said, "For me, the best 80s slasher is between Elm Street, Friday 4, and Terminator. Shout out to Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer." Absolutely. Big shout out to Henry. Yeah, I definitely, I can't disagree with that. You guys know this channel is all about New Jersey, and Friday 4 definitely carries the bill, but also Elm Street 84 was phenomenal. And guess what? All of those films came out in the same year, 84. Kill, can you imagine?
It's a good year.
It was a very good year. Yes. Mirage saying, yep, James Cameron also recently said flat out he thought he was making a final girl horror film with a tech component. There you go. Yep.
You know it's funny, not to cut you off. Okay. I'm sitting here and trying to think, what other film kind of feels like Terminator. Stick with me here. I'm gonna land the plane.
Okay.
It follows. Terminator is It Follows with guns.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to sleep. He can keep moving. He doesn't have to eat.
Right.
And he's just gonna keep stalking you until he finally catches you at some tiki bar and you're with your mom, and he finally gets John, and it's like, oh man, now he's gonna go be a family man.
Bro.
If you know,
No. Kelly, thank you for being here. Oh my god. In fact, saying the Divide is underrated. Yeah. Michael Biehn is just awesome. He really is. There's no doubt at all. Troy saying it's not a diehard type debate. James has said it's a horror movie, and Arnold is a slasher modeled villain. Yeah, I mean, he's totally. Listen, there was inspiration from Yul Brynner from Westworld, specifically as far as the robot component, and Michael Myers. It's as simple as that, and they've said it. So, to me, again, it's horror. And I feel as though it has enough elements of the slasher. It may not be the truest form of a slasher film, but it's damn close, man. Yeah, in my opinion. Sarah said Dark Fate gets a lot of crap, but I had fun with it.
Oh, I did too, Sarah. I
there
did.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Yeah. No shots on Dark Fate. I like Dark Fate.
Listen, and Sarah, this was before even you were, in the community with us, Sarah. I think it was it was on the first channel. We went through the whole Terminator franchise, and when we had live stream discussions, and to me it was awesome. It really was, and it was so much fun. When we got to Dark Fate, I told Kill and Coriander, I said, well, guys, tonight we might get booed off of the channel or something, because all three of us enjoyed it. Now, it's not the greatest Terminator film, but I did not think it was bad at all, and it was a great conversation we had. It's still on the channel. It's in our Terminator playlist. You got to go back at least 3 years on this channel, but it's there. It was a great conversation, and I think there was a lot of great stuff they did in it. Let's just rip off the Band-Aid since we're there, Kill. When we talk about what they did with John, how are you feeling about that years later? I know you may not have seen it recently, but do you feel any different about them killing off John right at the jump?
And this is going to be a cheap answer, but the continuity of Terminator is so all over the map. You got continuity from the Fox TV show. You got continuity from Genesis, Salvation. It's like I don't. Honestly, it's like I'm trying to piece together the Highlander films. It's like what is the continuity? So look.
That's wrong.
I didn't have an issue with it because they did something to me that made at least more sense than goddamn Genesis, where John is a goddamn nanobot Terminator. Like
he's Iron Man.
You got Captain Boomerang and Khaleesi here, and you got an older Arnold. I'm like, all right.
Oh Lord,
what are we doing? Look, suits that are listening. Hope you guys are. Can we get the same renaissance that we're getting for Alien and Predator? Can we get Terminator? Is that possible,
dude?
We still love this franchise. Look at how much we showed out for the Predator movies, whether it's the one straight on Hulu or the Badlands that's coming. We're going to see it. We're going to support. And Alien. I'm sorry. One other side note. If you know, Alien Earth. Last week's episode probably was the best hour-long Alien movie ever, all time. If you know.
Better than 79 and 86?
No. I said one of them. Oh, episode, I believe it's episode 5. It's the flashback one. I'm not gonna go to too much detail.
Holy shit!
If you guys know, people online are like, this is one of the best Alien movies, and it was compressed into an hour episode. So.
All right,
we would like to have the same renaissance for Terminator.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, man. Like, we know it can happen because Alien. And look, we talked about this time and time again. We love Prometheus. We hung in there with Covenant, but the franchise was teetering, bro. Even Ridley couldn't hold this thing together. And then you get Romulus, and it's like, oh shit! And now you got Alien Earth, and so. It showed that we can come back, and with Predator, bro, AVPR. Look, one of the funniest episodes we ever had was when we talked about Alien versus Predator Requiem. We shit on that movie so hard, and I will never forget it. So Predator and your boy, look. And it's
the Predator,
Mr. Homeboy Vanilla. Listen,
Cap,
there was good
Captain
moments.
America.
Captain America. There were good moments, but what a disappointment. And then you come out with Prey,
Yes.
right? And Badlands looks like it's going to be good. So like you can take these old 80s franchises, these sci-fi horror / action franchises, and they can still have life. But I'm gonna tell you what, man, I'm gonna sound like I'm being totally like 360 here or 180, but I don't know, man. Terminator, I just don't know. I just don't know if we can do anything, man.
Well, people are afraid to touch Arnold properties. When you
Yes.
look at the Total Recall remake, which I like. I liked it.
Yeah. Farrell.
Colin Farrell did his job. Kate Beckinsale,
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel. That's not a bad lineup. They did their job, and they changed things around, and now you have the Running Man coming out.
Dude, don't no, come on, man.
Yeah.
Is there any hope? Is there any hope for Glenn Powell?
I look, I mean, Hollywood is trying to push them. Hey, more power, make your money, and apparently they're taking more of the book.
Yes.
And so forth, and that's great. I never read the novel,
Yeah.
but hey, I will reserve judgment. I wasn't impressed too much by the trailer, but that's just me.
Yeah, the trailer was it was mid.
Yeah. But
mid.
We can't be afraid to touch Arnold stuff. Now granted, are you going to have that same big personality? No. But what they did in Total Recall, Colin was totally different. He wasn't trying to be a larger than life character.
Yeah.
And with Running Man, who knows what they're going to do with that. But there's still a lot of meat on the bone. All right. And Terminator has a lot of meat. And if you can get in and you can kind of tie all of that stuff together and make a cohesive sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, let's do it.
We can only hope, man. We can only hope. Real quick, Sarah's saying, I think she meant I'd watch Dark Fate before Genesis, hands down. Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, yeah.
That is the correct answer.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. Mirage saying, I'm doing okay. Had a sudden breakup last month with no words, so I'm shell-shocked but holding together. Oh, man. Well, we're sorry to hear that.
Sorry about that.
Glad you're holding it together. And, again, this community here, it's very positive and welcoming. And, we just try to have fun getting together a couple times every week. So, lean on this community, lean on us. We try to have some fun and some good laughs and also talk our passion, which is movies. So Scott saying, I love how Dark Fate posited that Judgment Day was essentially a fixed point. It was going to happen no matter what. Yeah, I thought that I thought it was a smart way to go, and I said it back then. I thought Dark Fate was pretty good. Had a few things I think they could have done better. Obviously, a few missteps, but overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Gene is heading out. Thank you so much for being here, Gene. We appreciate you being here. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. And dang, Sarah. Sarah pulled up the Terminator franchise playlist and our Predator. Dude, I don't even know if I could find those on the page. And I made the playlist.
Hey, those were some good videos, guys. Definitely, if you have a chance, check them out. You're cleaning your house, turn it on, leave a comment, laugh.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look, man, we had fun. I mean, we really we kind of cut our teeth on that type of thing, talking about these franchises, these films that meant a lot to us growing up, and just kind of going bit by bit, man. And we did that for a long time. We really did. So I had fun doing it. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Troy saying Alien and Predator lend themselves to more varied stories and locales, etc. Terminator has pretty much said all it needed to by the end of T2. That's a good point. And I think the lane, and we've talked about that before, I think the lane for Terminator is more narrow, which sounds so weird being that it takes place in different time periods. You know what I'm saying? You would think that it would have that type of variety, as far as the present and the future. But I agree, it's pretty narrow unless again you have someone that comes in with that type of story that really punches through with that creativity and gets that excitement. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Lastly, man, in your mind, when you think about the best 80s slasher, is the Terminator the best? If you had to give a quick rank, I know I'm putting you on the spot. You don't necessarily have to answer, but again, if you were to say what's the best 80s slasher, is it the Terminator? And if not, where does it fall? Is it in your top 5? Top 10?
It's in my top 5. It's not the best. It's not the best. And my reasoning for that, huh?
What's ahead of it?
Friday the 13th.
All right, I like how you say it. Friday 13th.
I mean, I mean, look, there's no lying here. You guys know what channel this is, and I look at it the same way as someone who might say the original Alien is not a horror film. It's sci-fi or even horror sci-fi. Okay. I do look at Terminator as a horror film. I do look at Terminator as a slasher, but it depending on the way you feel with the whole gunplay thing, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But I guess in a way I am a little bit more of a traditionalist.
Yeah.
Where, Jason just is the archetype there. And honestly, like I even would look at Nightmare on Elm Street as kind of a hybrid slasher.
Oh yeah.
Because there's that whole angle of going in dreams and so forth. So it's like, all right, if Terminator kind of has some hybrid elements, so does Nightmare on Elm Street. If you really want to nitpick,
that's a good point. The fantastical element.
Yes, exactly. The fantastical element. So so for me, 80s slasher, things that come to my mind, traditionalists, the Halloween movies from the 80s, Friday the 13th movies from the 80s, things of that nature, but I definitely would say it is in the top 5. You can't deny. Terminator. I'm sorry.
I agree. I would say, it has to be in the top 5, maybe even the top 4 for me, because it's just perfectly paced. You've got the horror, you've got the kills, you've got the killer, you've got the final girl, you've got the finale, the big fight, where she barely makes it out. I just think it has all the elements that you want, and it's such a great movie. Perfect movies is pretty much flawless. Everything about it.
Now, one thing, not to cut you off, some people might say it's a creature feature.
Yeah, people have said that.
Some people would say like, oh, it's The Fly.
Yep.
The Fly is a creature feature. This is a creature feature, except the creature is a robot.
Yeah.
So, tomato.
Right? Yeah, no doubt. Real quick, we've got Mirage Knight saying, what other horror movies do you consider T1 scarier than? Oh, there's a bunch, man. I think Terminator is scarier than quite a few horror movies. I think it's like, okay, and some horror movies are designed to be more campy, you know what I'm saying? And not as serious in tone or whatever.
Gremlins.
Well, it's definitely scarier than that. But I'll take some current ones, and I'm not trying to rag on it, although I know it. I'm kind of ragging on it, but In a Violent Nature, and I just did a Why You Hate on that, and I just tore that thing up to shreds, shit on it all day, because look, we're walking around for 93% of the film. That's what we're doing. We're walking. I should have had my Fitbit on to get my steps in. That's what I was doing with that film. And the problem was the practical effects were great. The kills, they had some great kills in it. So that's all fine. The concept is great. The POV of the killer, that was great. Some of the atmosphere was pretty good. But the characters were shit. There was no development, no vibe, no connection, no story. Even the mythology was like, okay, guys, we can do a little bit better than that, can't we? So Terminator is scarier than Terminator is scarier than that for sure. I could feel the Terminator. You know what I'm saying? When he's chasing Sarah, I'm like, this is scary shit.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
and look at Sarah. Sarah, again, all over the place. The Slasher Movie Club playlist in the house. Coriander and I just did one, and trying to get back into that habit. So thank you so much, Sarah. We appreciate that. And she says she's got the Why You Hate series. These are fun. I have fun with them, and I hope that and I've heard a lot of people do as well. So that's my hope. Yeah, check it out if you haven't. Check it out if you haven't. All right, guys. So, listen, Troy said my critic brain may say yes for Terminator, but come on. It's Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday 4 for enjoyment all day. I agree. Yeah, me, like I said, I think Terminator is top 5, top 4. And Elm Street, Friday 4 definitely are at the top. And there's probably another one in there too. I mean, if we're just talking one movie per franchise, that makes it easier, because I love Dream Warriors as well, if we're talking about the 80s. But Terminator is really amazing as a film, as a sci-fi film, as a horror film, and I feel as a slasher. I really do. So there you go. It's damn near perfect. All right, guys. We're going to get ready to head on out of here. This was a lot of fun. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. This was great. Sarah, thank you so much for putting the links in there. A big shout out to Scott, who joined our Patreon. We really appreciate that, brother. It helps us out to kind of do what we need to do week in and week out, and it makes a difference. So thank you so much. I'll be talking to you guys over on Patreon. If you're not on Patreon, jump over there. We've got a chat feature. We can still be talking and having conversation and so forth. So make sure you guys do that. Hit the like button as always. And let's leave some comments, guys. Let us know what you think about all these things we talked about, from Terminator to The Conjuring Last Rites to Alien Earth. I mean, we've been all over the place. Let me ask one more thing before we go, Kill.
Yeah.
And I had put this out there. Black Phone 2. Are you excited for Black Phone?
I am.
Dude, that trailer, this could be it, bro.
Look, once again, we have an actor of Ethan Hawke's caliber in a horror franchise, not just a single off. Now we're in franchise territory, because now it's zombie Ethan. Like, what are we doing here?
Look, I saw the trailer, because we haven't talked about this live. When I saw the trailer, it's like, it's Freddy. We've ascended. Now he can do anything, bro.
You messed up. You messed up. You
effed around and found out.
Yep.
Hey, look, I mean, seriously, I'm so excited about it, and I hope that again they can continue to take these steps. It's exciting times, man, because we're seeing new talent, new visionaries, new characters, and whether it's Terrifier or these great films like Weapons. The Grabber could be the next one. Troy saying, I feel personally attacked for all the violent nature stuff. I seem to be the only one that enjoys it. Look, I'll tell you what, man, and I've been wanting to watch it again, like when I have absolutely all the time in the world, and I'm like in a food coma. You know how when you eat that good food and you sit on the couch and you're just like, that's when I want to watch it, because I think I'll enjoy it more. But no, seriously, it's one of those things where I just feel like the pacing should be better, just a little bit quicker, and I don't know, maybe that's just me, but anyways, Sarah saying, I love the first Black Phone. Really didn't think it needed a sequel, but I can't deny the trailer for number 2 has me excited. Yeah, man, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And Scott saying, good times tonight. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. And thank you again for joining the Patreon, bro. It really helps us out. So we will catch you guys next time. Take it easy. As always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Peace.